Okay, so we're going to do just a little observation here. This is for a longer video, not the 1-minute video. This is the tank cemetery. It's the end of turn 2. The 0800 turn on the 26th of July 1942. And this is the attack of 28th Corps off here to the west. So we have 28th Corps off here to the west is attacking. The deliberate attack was by the 58th Tank Brigade, the 158th Tank Brigade, independent. Then we had a single, sorry, I've been putting these on and taking these off. We had a single deliberate attack over here by the 131st Rifle Division. So you'll note the suppression markers. So the Luftwaffe had a very good turn. They had some planes, actually quite a number of planes abort. So let's examine this. So they had, let's see, they had 1, 2, 3 air units abort. But for the air units that made it through, none of them were stopped by flak, by anti-aircraft artillery, as it turned out. They inflicted a total of 4 step losses and those 3 suppressions that we see here. So well done Luftwaffe. So quite a bit going on there. The Soviets were it seems like all the Germans have to do at this point, as long as they have their Hedgehogs up, is to let the Soviets batter against their defenses. And that's pretty much what happened this turn. So with the suppressions happening on the German side, during the German turn, suppressions happening during the German turn, I chose, as the Soviet leader chose not to commit those units to combat this turn, so it sort of drew down the available forces. So that's interesting. I would point out too that the Germans even withdrew the engineers from the front line. I believe this heck's not entirely certain, and they also did what amounted to a full move by one of the artillery units, taking it out of play. That would have been useful, I think, in that turn. But these are pre-positioned now. It's 3, the engineers and the artillery unit can now construct a Hedgehog, should I care to do so. There's nothing in the rules, as far as I know, that says that I don't believe that constructing a Hedgehog is a movement type thing to consume the whole movement. Therefore, I'm going to assume that the artillery unit is able to respond for calls from fire. Might need to get a judgment call on that from the game designers. I could see it going either way. It's sort of like, well, hold on, we're gonna improve our positions here. We're gonna make a Hedgehog. And when we have to fire a fire mission, okay, we'll get back and fire the fire mission. So I could see it going that way. I could also see it, no, they have to pull off the guns and they have to be really sufficiently engaged that they can't actually work the guns. So don't know how that's going to be. But we're going to come in here. We're going to start doing turn 3 very quickly here. But so far, the major advantage appears to be that the Soviets are all green, okay? And that's a big deal. That's, in many ways, because they are green, from where they are in the attacker combat results table, for that matter, the defender, but not that they've had to defend yet, but it's almost as if they have a 4 odds ratio shift to the left, to the negative direction. So even when they got in one case, I think on the first turn, they got a 5-to-1 combat. Well, yeah, but it's about the same as a veteran unit getting a 1-to-1 combat. So the Germans are all veterans here, and they are much more effective at everything that they do. So we'll see how it plays out. That's it for now. This is just a bit of analysis. What's likely to happen is I'm going to take away the informational markers here, the transient ones, and proceed on with turn 3. I'm thinking I might do some analysis in terms of looking at the relative effectiveness of the Soviets versus the Germans. I can tell you this is the casualty, the loss box. I'm using the German loss box for both sides, much as we do in Guderian crosses the Meuse. And you can see quite a number of losses here. I'm also including the air losses just for record keeping. Those losses are due purely to poor rolls on the air mission success table due to the fact that the Germans have air superiority. But that's a pretty harsh knock there against the Soviets this early. And as you can see, I mean, this thing is really definitely the tank graveyard. We already have seven step losses for armor, 5 each for red type units and for blue type units. And so quite a bit of loss. And the score, I believe I've mentioned that elsewhere, but the score at the end of turn 2 is Germans 24, Soviets nothing. So we're up, it's a 4-score game right now, right? They're going to need to get themselves some 3 touchdowns and a field goal. And we're still in the first quarter from my point of view, if you want to use the nice extended football metaphor. So we'll see what happens. The critical thing is these hedgehogs are a tough nut, right? A tough shell for these green troops to crack. But once they crack it, the Germans are going to find themselves in a bit of a pickle because with the combat results table, even when we are talking relatively, let's try it out here. Combat results. So we're going to take a look and, okay, you see the red is pointing right to the top of the red here is pointing right to the 10 number for, let's switch this around, much better, single pointer. We're pointing at the 10. The most effective result for green troops with no die roll modifiers. And if you look at the range of options here, let's just focus in on that 10 line. There's our focus. And we're only going to have an effect at the 0.25, we're only going to have an effect 10% of the time, 10% of the time, 20% of the time, again 20% of the time, because hedgehogs suck up a single step loss. They also suck up with no modification. They suck up an R, a single hex retreat, and it's like, okay, your bullets just embedded themselves in the wood, something like that. Here we are now up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 40%, and that's at 1.5 to 1 odds. And then we'll go up to the 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 50%. So you have to get to 2 to 1 odds, unmodified by die roll modifiers, before the green troops have a 50-50 chance of inflicting any kind of loss, and only 3 of those are going to reduce the hedgehog. I would point out as well that with the terrain analysis, I put the hedgehog 2s on both of the 3 hex locations, and other hedgehog 2s where 2 units, 1, 2, 1, 2 can come at them, right? So my vulnerabilities are generally covered by the highest level of available fortification. So they got the work cut out for them. So an R, as we recall with a hedgehog, is going to reduce a hedgehog 2 to a hedgehog 1. Subsequently, that becomes a bit more vulnerable. And we'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 70%, 3 to 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 80%. And actually this 1R, that's nothing. I think that these 1Rs are not particularly applicable to hedgehogs. Maybe the hedgehog 1. But this is the challenge that the Green Soviets have. Now, if we look at the defensive side of things, let's do the same argument, except we're now going to point. We'll put our pointer on the veteran 10. Okay. And look at this. So the blue pen is denoting the 10 line. Now, remember, larger numbers are worse cases for the defenders. So the issues that we wind up with here are these are veterans. They're doing much better. Imagine if they were shifted 4 downwards. If you look at this 10 line for the green, so this entire blue line right here, let's change the pointer for a moment. Should the Germans ever wish to go on the offensive, there we are. Should the Germans ever wish to go on the offensive, they will find that the Soviets are really whiffing a lot, you know. So here's the 1 to 10, and we'll just say even odds. So even odds, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 divided by 10, about a 1.1, and that's just step loss. So that's going to be your odds. Your likely accomplishment is going to be a 1.1 step loss, statistical average with no die roll modifiers. And as the odds improve, and the Germans should be fairly decent at making the odds. Well, maybe. I mean, who was it? Was it Stalin or Mao? It was Mao, I think. God is on the side of the big battalions. So it's certainly the case that the Soviets have a lot of force in this area. So really, as the German, I don't feel a particular need to attack into this. I would much rather, as the German, here we go, let's get this set up. No. Wrong way. Let me fix this again. Get this all fixed up here. So we're pointing again at the 10 with the line there. I would much rather have the Germans here, 5, the 5-6 line right here, 5-6. That's roughly statistical average, right? Your stat average on a D10 is going to be 5.5. And so we're looking at, if the Soviets are not able to come up with much in the way of odds, you know, we're at 1.5, 1.5, 1, just a steady drip. This is 3 to 1 right up here. And so for trading, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 1.3 step losses, right? And if we look at the attacking Soviets for a stat average, what was that, 3 to 1? I believe it was 3.5 to 1, I think. Yeah, it was a 3.5 to 1. So let's take a look at the 3.5 to 1 column for the Soviets. Nothing, reduction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 50% chance of doing a reduction on the Hedgehog. And they might get 1, 2, 3. 30% chance of a reduction in a step loss, which the Hedgehog will suck up. So the Soviets are going to have to reduce those Hedgehogs down, and that's the challenge here. So we'll take a quick look at the air state. So we still are looking reasonably well. We have all of our Stukas available coming into the 1200 game turn. Our other aircraft are a little bit more fatigued. The Soviets are actually in significantly worse shape. They're roughly the same, but again, I point out those two units that have been destroyed due to air superiority. So I'm not sure how this is going to play out. So I'm going to play turn 3 as quickly as I can. I'm really liking this scenario. I could see using this scenario and swapping things out a bit to do some maneuvers. It's a nice tight constraint thing. The turns are not, aside from having to think about them a bit more and make sure that I get the rules correct, they're not all that difficult to play. They don't take an excessive amount of time, so I could see running the same exercise, except I will swap out for either the full 60th motorized or the full 3rd motorized, with or without Hedgehogs. I could see maybe doing instead an infantry division, with or without supply, and see how these things go. So really well thought out scenario here. There are others that are available, other situations that are available in the literature that could work out reasonably well in the future. So anyway, thanks for listening. Hope you liked it, and we'll see you down the road here. I think this will be a standalone video at this point in time. It's gotten to that length.